Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel, and we're going to get straight into this today. We're looking at a brand new gas blowback, or at least brand new to me, which is the Strike Industries KP-9 gas blowback by EMG and Toxicant. Now, for all intensive purposes, I see a lot of misinformation going around the internet. It's basically a Well-Pro PP19 that's been tarted up by Toxicant. Everything that I've seen so far pretty much points the finger that it's the same thing in its base, but there are some differences that they've made. I picked this up from BZ, very much thanks to them. They had it in stock, and I wasn't initially going to get this. I held it at the IWA. It felt great. I was just going to pick up the normal Well-Pro PP19, which is like a standard PP19, not the PPK20, and put my own bits on. And then when I looked at it, the PP19 was a lot cheaper, but then I thought, well, by the time I've gone and sourced a real front end and a different stock for this thing, it's probably going to end up costing me more money. It might just make sense to go and pick this up. So I did. We're going to open this up here. I can get this box on the bench because it is fairly small. We open this up. We've got the replica. We have a gas magazine that is included with it, as you see here. This is one of the ones originally I bought for the PPK20. They're pretty much exactly the same. There's different colour on the pins. You know, maybe some minor colour differences. This one's a bit more matte. Don't know if you can see that on camera, but this one's a bit more matte to this one, which is nicer. But I was going to strip all mine anyway and matte them down because they look quite glossy and cheap. But the one with the silver pins is the one that come with this gun, and this is the normal one. I have made changes to this. We'll get to that a little bit later in the video. But we've got a gas magazine. We have a big Allen key. We have some free BBs. To be honest, I'll just throw them in the bin. We do have a speed loader. We have a couple of bits and pieces in here. So we have a speed loader and its adapter. We have a tool, which will be for adjusting the hop-up. We've got a little piece here that we can put in the mags to dry fire it, and we get a couple of Allen keys as well. We also get a little card that comes with all the EMG stuff to show you that it's a licensed product. So let's get this thing out of the box. We also, underneath another layer of foam here, we have a cleaning and unjamming rod, just like most replicas nowadays. So we can close this down, get it out of the way. No manuals or anything I can see are included. Get this box. Nice coloured box, to be honest. The branding on it's pretty straightforward. Set that to one side, and here it is, the KP-9. So as far as I can tell, this is a Well-Pro PP19 which had a front end change, a grip change, and a stock change. So this stock does fold from the side here. You also have a button here. I think that might be fixed in place. We'll have to check. Can we push that in? No, that is very much in there. So that'll just be like maybe a replacement part, or maybe it's just stuck and I can't quite release it. So we get a Strike Industries stock. So that's something I'm not going to have to buy separately if I was going the other route. Comes with the handguard, which has all the M-lock bits on it. Again, something else I'm not having to buy. And of course the grip, which does actually feel pretty damn good. Now, I'm not sure if they're using real Strike Industries parts or whether they're making their own. But they look pretty damn good. So they're either the real thing or they're very, very good replicas. So feels very, very stiff and rigid in the hands. There's nothing wobbling, or I can't flex any of it, which is great. The selector does get stuck there. So I can't actually put that on safe because it's binding up. It's getting stuck here, so you'll see that little silver mark there. It's getting stuck on the top cover, but I just pushed it up and it seems to have freed it up there. So all the way down for semi-auto, in the middle for full, and we've got some nice clicks. It's nice and positive. Magazine, like I say, very much like the other ones. These are, I've just noticed they have quite an extended follower there, so we might be able to trim that down and get a few more BBs in. But it's pretty much exactly the same as the other ones. Now, we'll get in. We'll cover the replica first, and then we'll get into what I'm going to talk about the magazine. So, steel receiver, steel top cover, steel trigger. No, it's not. Aluminium trigger. Trigger guard is steel. The this part of the trigger guard as well that wraps around is steel. Obviously, pins are steel. Bolt is obviously cast. Steel main block here. I can't remember the name for this. Is it the trunnion? I'm not too sure. I can never remember the name for this part. So, front sight steel. Flash hider steel. I can't quite get to the outer barrel, but it doesn't feel like it. So, but a bunch of steel parts on the back. The hinge, obviously the pins for the stock and the screws are steel. The hinge itself is aluminium of some kind, as well as the stock part, and the rest of it is aluminium. The selector lever as well is steel. We've got levers at the top here. This one's actually out of place. Is it out of place? Yeah, it's out of place. It wasn't quite locked in place there. It's weird. But that, again, I'm not too sure. It feels like the magnet's attracting to it, but it might be attracting to the block that's behind it. Sight, again, steel as well. So you've got a bunch of steel parts throughout. We can push the back button in here, and we should be able to lift up the top cover. They tend to be a little bit stiff. And there you have your bolt and such like that. Now remember, when we looked at the WellPro stuff, the PPK20 was okay, but the AK12 would get stuck on the hammer. This one doesn't have that issue. This is easy to take out, of course. We just pop the spring out there. We can pop the bolt out. A bit of damage on the bolt. I'm not sure what that's from. Short bolt. We do have an end pass fitted in as standard, which is nice. Another thing that we don't need to worry about. And the hop is in there, but the way that we adjust that, if I put this back together for you, so pop that down, I tend to get it like that, give it a slap, that will lock it into place properly. Just check the bolt and we're good to go. So you do get a little tool in the box with it, but if you don't have that on you, it's not a problem. I think it's a 2mm Allen key. Yeah. And we basically put it in this little, where this pin would be for the opposite side. We can actually do it by hand, so we don't actually need the tool. So this usually on a PP19 like my LCT is where the normal folding stock would latch into, but we can just turn that by hand. You can see little markings on there. So if we go clockwise with that, it's more hop. Counterclockwise, it's less. So we don't actually need any tools. That's very, very nice. They've included the tool anyway, but we don't need it. Everything else feels fairly good. There's some, obviously some bad casting marks on some of these parts. We've got a top rail on there, so you can put all your accessories on there. These top covers as well are quite tight. On my LCT, it was quite tight as well, which means that red dots, for the most part for airsoft, they'll hold zero. Obviously, real steel will be a different thing, but for us in airsoft, larping around with our toy guns, it's absolutely fine. You do have a side rail on there where you could put a like an AK mount, but you don't need it. We do have a sticker here, so I'm going to peel that off. Comes off without ripping, which is really, really nice. Magazine slots in nicely, and there we go. So what am I talking about these magazines? And we're going to get into that now. So this magazine is empty. I'm going to turn the scale on so you can see it. Let it do its thing. So the mag that comes with it, 571 grams. These are chonkers of mags. The other ones were like it as well. This one's a little bit less for whatever reason. So what we're going to do is we're going to charge the mag that came with it with some propane. We're not going to do any funky stuff just yet. So we have to pull this down, and then we have to pull the base plate off. What I'm going to do with all my base plates is just drill a hole And you can see the inlet valve there. Yeah. However, on this one, because I've been toying around with a few things, you'll see the inlet valve is different. Now this is a Tokyo Marui inlet valve, if I've picked the right magazine up. So we're going to charge this mag. This weighed at 571. And it would seem that Toxicant have changed this valve as well. We'll try it. So put some gas in that. It now weighs less. That's weird. There we go, it's sealed properly. So we charge it up with some propane. It's at 563. I don't know why it was at 571 before. Maybe I made a mistake there. This one, however, is coming in at 557. And you'll hear it's venting. I'm going to keep going here because it is completely empty. And there it started venting at the top. So they can hold a ton of gas. Now we'll weigh this one now. See how it weighs quite a bit more? And this is basically the issue I had. Now we can test this magazine today anyway, but the issue that I had with my PPK20 and all of my magazines was that I had the issue with the AK-12 as well, where no matter how much I tried, no matter how much I purged it, I mean, we could purge this one and we could try filling it up again. I just could not get, every now and again I'd get enough of gas in there where I could shoot a whole mag, but for the most part it just wouldn't seem like, I'm touching it now and it just doesn't sound like there's much gas going into the valves. So I thought, well, let's see if I put in a Marui valve, we'll have to drill and tap it, this, that, the other. Turns out you can get the Marui inlet valves that have the long stems on and they just thread straight in, which is great. And again, this one's now weighing in a little bit more, but we'll see. But what I've found with my PPK20 is this mag that has the swapped out inlet valve, they're very cheap to buy, just means I can get more gas in, and then each time I come to use it, I'm getting a full mag of BBs. Some of the mags would be okay, but some of them I'd fire 15 shots or so, and then the mag would just be out, and no matter what I did, they just would not accept more gas. So just a bit of tolerance issues with the inlet valves. So this is the original mag that came with it. So we're going to get this filled up here. And we can, if we angle this correctly, sometimes it will get a bit stuck. They are a little bit more stiff when they're new. That'll be enough. I think we're full there anyway. Some 2.5s, we'll chrono this thing, see what it's doing. Of course, we've got the M-Pass in there fitted as standard, so we can change the power if we need to. What you do have to look at though, and I had this with all of my other magazines, is that when you've filled them, you have to knock these latches down. See that? We've filled the mag, but the empty mag detection is still sticking up. So you have to knock them down manually, a bit like the SR2M. Is that what I'm talking about? So you always have to make sure, once you've gassed your mags, you fill them with BBs, you just have to flip these latches down because they don't come down on their own. And you'll put the mag in and it won't fire. So just a little bit of a tip there for you. So we're going to whack this in. Probably got one too many in there, so let's pop the top round out. Whack the mag in, make sure it's seated. We'll load a round in, we'll point it down. Nothing comes out the barrel, so we're good. We're on 2.5s. Chrono is set to 2.5s. Here's the first shot. We're at 1.2 joules there. I'm just going to put 10 more through it and I'll call them out for you. 1.13, 1.08, 1.04, 1.02, 0.98, 0.98, 0.95, 0.92 and 0.92. So we did come down a little bit there. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to see if I can fire the rest of these BBs off. I'm going to do 5 shots, semi-auto still, and then I'm going to try and run the rest of the mag on full auto. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to flick this up to auto. And we ran out of gas. But we still have 1 round in there. I think we've got 1 round still in the barrel. See if we can shoot them, whether it's out. No, we're completely empty. So that's the issue that I have most of the time with my mags. Now we're going to take this one, and all I've changed is the inlet valve. So, I mean, by when you have it in the right position, it's a lot easier to fill. So that's fully loaded. We'll take one out. Charge this back. We're going to knock down that lever, like so. So we've got 1 in the chamber. We'll just do a quick chrono on the first couple of rounds as well. So first shot, 1 joule, 1 joule, 0.98, 0.96, 0.93, 0.96. There we go. Magazine is cold, but we're going to see, hopefully this works, we can get rid of the rest of the mag. And that fed every round on full auto. There was plenty of gas to go. There was probably a little bit too much gas at the start. It did spit at the beginning. Now I tend to find they won't normally do that on semi, but when you're dumping a mag on full auto, what we're going to try and do is see if we can dump another mag out. So we're going to go back to semi-auto and flip that latch down. I'm going to charge a round in. We're going to see how many more shots we can get out of this. So here we go. So we did, and this is on a cold mag. You can see the condensation getting onto it. Hopefully you can see that it's extremely cold. Like I've just dumped all the gas out of it, but we've just got 2 mags of BBs. One of them was completely full auto to 1 fill of gas. And I have this argument all the time. It's got nothing to do with the KP-9, by the way. I have this argument all the time about TM fill valves, and people go, you're wasting gas, you're doing this, that, the other. These mags are the same. All I've done is put a Marui valve in this that vents as we fill it, which means we can fill it up with liquid gas because it lets the propane escape in its gas form compared to its liquid form as we're filling it, and then when it spits at the top, we know it's full. This one is on the standard valve, which we filled, we purged, we filled it again, and we couldn't even finish 1 mag. So I mean, I'm going to be doing this to my mags. I'm not saying you should go out and do it, but that is a much more consistent way of using the rifle to me, because I would probably regas my mags up after 1 mag anyway. But if I can't get 1 mag of BBs out on 1 fill, then it becomes a bit of a problem. And this is the issue that I had when I was doing, long ago, when I was doing like the gauntlet and the range tests, was the mags were letting me down. You know, I weren't getting a full fill. I'd get, some of them I was getting 10, 15 BBs in, and the mag was just not accepting or not, giving me any more gas. It was empty. So that's the modification that I'm going to be doing. It's very, very simple. You don't need a degree in physics to do it. you basically buy some TM inlet valves. These are the ones without the enlarged cup on the end, so they're like the normal pistol style ones. You pull your old valve out, you put your TM valve in, and you are good to go. The only thing that I need to do is I need to do all the rest of the magazines I've got, and I need to put a hole in here because I don't want to keep taking this off to fill the gas up because it's a bit of a pain. But the gun shot, it's shooting field legal for here in the UK. The first couple of shots are 1.2. Usually a bit of an anomaly with new guns. They tend to rest. When it did, it rested about 1 joule or just under. So this, by all means, is an expensive replica. If you're not bothered about the Strike Industries parts and you want a more authentic looking PP19, that's a PP19-01, then the normal Well Pro is probably going to be the one that I would recommend that you choose. If you know that you're going to be, tightening this up, you want to put a fancy handguard on there, a fancy grip, changing the stock up, which is, the Strike Industry stuff does have an aesthetic to it that not everyone's going to like. You still retain the folding stock here. It's just nice and out the way. There is a sharp edge on that somewhere. I think it might be there. This one is much more foldable than the one that we saw on the Red Wolf Airsoft booth at IWA. So if you're not bothered about modernising it, go with the normal Well Pro PP1901. If you're going to, like me, I knew I was going to be changing it. So let's say I put a Magpul handguard on here. I'm going to be putting either a Magpul grip. The stock is a little bit more difficult because not all stocks are the same. So the beauty about this is if you don't like the Strike Industries one, you could pull that off, put it on one of your other guns, or sell it and put something different on there. The choices are endless. With the normal PP19, you are sort of stuck with the normal stock unless you find something that is compatible. I'm not sure what that would be. And there you have it. So I hope I've put across my points that I want to put across. It feels great. It is a nice chunk of metal. It feels like, an AK derivative should feel. There's no wobble or slop or anything bouncing around that makes you, it just gives you the ick. You don't want to pick it up because it's just rattling around and you can feel it moving as you're operating the SMG. When we've obviously fixed the inlet valve problem, it will run on full auto. Initially, my PPK20 would run on full auto. Then I started getting into these issues with the valves. I still have my PPK20. I wish I'd have waited and not picked up the PPK20 and gone for either this or the normal PP1901. I do have quite a few PP1901, PP9. How many times can I say PP19? I've got another one here somewhere that was, so I can see it across the room. I'm not going to grab it. So there you have it. Hopefully I've touched on some points that you want to know. I know many of you are really, anticipating us getting back into the range stuff and doing some bits in CQB with them. That will be coming. All will be revealed in good time. It's just going to take a bit of time for us to get to that point, and then you'll all go, oh yeah, that makes perfect sense. So thank you for tuning in as always. If there's any questions or anything you want to know on the PP1901 or the KP-9, the Strike Industries one from Toxicant and EMG, you can ask down in the comments below, but the best thing you can do is join the Jaeger Precision Discord community. The link is in the description. You can come and ask questions on there. There'll be both myself and other members on there that have got different replicas that can answer your queries and stuff like that. So it's becoming a really, really nice place to be. And thanks for tuning in. As always, let me know down in the comments regardless anyway what you think of this PP19 or the KP-9. I keep calling it PP19. The KP-9 GBB from EMG, Toxicant and Strike Industries. Let me know what you're thinking about it down below. But as always, from me and Bench, we'll be seeing you in the next one.